Do you ever find yourself pausing at the bottom of a staircase, looking up and wondering if your knees are going to cooperate today? Or maybe you have noticed that getting out of your favorite armchair requires a bit more momentum and a lot more effort than it used to. It is a sinking feeling, isn't it? The fear that your body is slowly betraying you, that the stiffness in your joints and the ache in your bones are just inevitable parts of the calendar turning another page. You might have been told that this is just what happens when we age, that we should just get used to it or take a handful of pills to mask the pain. But what if I told you that the creaking in your joints and the fragility in your bones might not just be about how many birthdays you have celebrated? What if the solution to rebuilding your foundation wasn't found in a high-tech laboratory or an expensive prescription bottle, but was sitting right there in your refrigerator, probably inside a cardboard carton? In this video, we are going to talk about the incredible power of the humble egg. For years, many of us were told to run away from them, to fear the yolk and stick to dry toast. But modern science has revealed that we may have made a massive mistake. We are going to uncover 3 specific ways that eating eggs can help naturally rebuild your bones, lubricate your stiff joints, and give you back the strength you thought was gone for good. We will look at the hidden nutrients in eggs that act like a construction crew for your skeleton, and I will show you exactly how to eat them to get the maximum benefit, because yes, there is a right and a wrong way. By the time we are done, you will have a simple, delicious strategy to start reclaiming your mobility and your independence. Before we jump in, if you care about staying healthy and independent well into your golden years, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. We share the kind of senior health tips that doctors often overlook, and we would love to have you in our community. And let me ask you something. Are you watching from the United States, the UK, Canada, or somewhere else entirely? Drop a comment below with where you are from. I am always curious to see how far our senior health family reaches. Now let us get into the first major way eggs can transform your body. It starts with something we all know we need but rarely get enough of in the right form, and that is high-quality muscle-sparing protein. You might be thinking, wait a minute, I thought we were talking about bones and joints. Why are we talking about muscles? Here is the secret connection that most people miss. Your bones do not float in empty space. They are held together and moved by your muscles. When our muscles get weak naturally as we age, a condition called sarcopenia, our bones lose their protective armor. Imagine your joints are like a door hinge. If the door frame, which is your muscle, is rotting or weak, that hinge is going to wobble, grind, and eventually break. This is where the egg comes in as a superhero. Eggs are what scientists call the gold standard of protein. They contain a complete amino acid profile, which means they have every single building block your body needs to repair tissue. But there is one specific amino acid in eggs called leucine that is magic for those of us over 60. Think of leucine as the ignition key for a car. You can have a tank full of gas, but if you don't turn the key, the engine does not start. For seniors, our engines are a little harder to start. We need more leucine to trigger muscle growth than we did when we were 20. Eggs are packed with this ignition key. When you eat them, you are essentially flipping the switch that tells your body to hold on to muscle mass. I want you to picture a woman named Linda. She is 72. She started feeling like her legs were made of lead every time she tried to walk to the mailbox. She thought her bones were crumbling. It turned out her bones were okay, but her supporting muscles had withered away because she was starting her day with just toast and coffee. She started adding 2 eggs to her breakfast every morning. Within 6 weeks, that lead feeling vanished. Her muscles had the fuel to support her knees and hips again. The grinding stopped because the support system was back online. So the first way eggs help is by rebuilding the scaffolding that protects your skeleton. But you might be worried about the cholesterol, right? That brings us directly to our second point, and this is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of nutrition for our generation. The second way eggs rebuild your bones is by acting as a delivery system for the most critical bone-building vitamins, specifically vitamin D and vitamin K2. For decades, we were told to throw away the yolk because of cholesterol. It turns out that was terrible advice for our bone health. Here is the simple science. Calcium is the bricks for your bones, right? We all know we need calcium, but calcium is stubborn. It does not just know where to go. If you just flood your body with calcium without a guide, it can end up in the wrong places, like hardening your arteries or forming kidney stones. You need a traffic controller to tell the calcium to go into the bone and stay out of the heart. That traffic controller is vitamin K2, and guess where one of the best natural sources of K2 is found? You guessed it, in the yolk of the egg. But it gets even better. To even absorb calcium in the first place, you need vitamin D. Now here is the catch that trips so many people up. Vitamin D is fat-soluble. That means your body literally cannot absorb it unless it is eaten with fat. If you take a vitamin D pill with a glass of water or some dry cereal, much of it flushes right out of your system. But nature, in its infinite wisdom, packaged the egg perfectly. The yolk provides the healthy fats and the vitamin D together. It is a complete pre-packaged bone-building kit. A study published in the Journal of Food Science showed that the bioavailability of these nutrients in eggs is significantly higher than in many supplements. When you throw away the yolk, you are throwing away the traffic controller and the vehicle, and you are left with just the white, which is fine for protein but useless for these specific bone builders. It is like buying a car and throwing away the steering wheel. I know it can be scary to go against what we were told in the 80s and 90s about fat, but think about it this way. Your brain is mostly fat. Your cell membranes are fat. Your hormones need fat to function. When we starve our bodies of these healthy natural fats, our joints dry up. Have you ever felt that clicking sensation in your knees, that dry grinding feeling? That is often a sign that your joints are crying out for lubrication. The healthy fats in egg yolks help reduce inflammation and lubricate those moving parts. Speaking of inflammation, this leads us smoothly into the third major way eggs help you, and this one is a game changer for anyone suffering from arthritis or chronic joint pain. It is all about a nutrient called choline and a compound hidden in the shell membrane. Let's talk about choline first. Most people have never heard of it, but it is vital for seniors. Chronic inflammation is like a slow burning fire inside your body. It eats away at your cartilage and degrades your bone density. One of the markers of this inflammation is a compound in your blood called homocysteine. High levels of homocysteine are linked to higher rates of bone fractures in the elderly. It makes bones brittle. Choline is the firefighter that hoses down homocysteine levels, and eggs are the single best dietary source of choline. By eating eggs, you are actively lowering the inflammatory markers that dissolve your bone tissue. But there is something else really fascinating here. Have you ever peeled a hard-boiled egg and seen that thin, clear film between the white and the shell? We usually pick it off and throw it in the trash. That is the eggshell membrane. Believe it or not, that membrane is made of collagen, glucosamine, and chondroitin. You have probably seen those words on expensive joint supplement bottles at the pharmacy. Those are the exact compounds our joints are made of. Now, while you might not want to eat the shell directly, scientists have found that even the trace amounts of these compounds found in eggs, specifically when we consume the whole egg or use stock made from shells, can support joint cushioning. Imagine your knee joint is a shock absorber. Over time, the rubber pad in that shock absorber wears thin. That is arthritis. The nutrients found in eggs help signal your body to repair that rubber pad. It is not an overnight miracle, but it is a consistent daily supply of repair material. Now, I want to pause for a second because I can almost hear some of you thinking, well, this sounds great, but I have high cholesterol, or my doctor told me to watch my intake. It is a valid concern. The most recent research from major heart associations has clarified that for the vast majority of people, dietary cholesterol, that is the cholesterol you eat, does not directly clog your arteries the way sugar and trans fats do. In fact, the liver produces cholesterol naturally to repair cells. When you eat healthy cholesterol from eggs, your liver often just produces less to balance it out. Of course, we are all different, so if you have a specific genetic condition, always check with your doctor. But for most of us, the fear of eggs was vastly overblown, and it cost us our bone density. If you are finding these tips useful so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps spread the word to other seniors who might be suffering needlessly. And if you have not yet, do subscribe for more little-known health insights. We are just getting started on how to actually implement this. So we know the 3 ways: the protein scaffolding, the vitamin delivery system, and the inflammation fighter. But knowing this is only half the battle. You need to know how to eat them to get these benefits, because if you fry them in unhealthy vegetable oil, you might be undoing all the good. Here is a practical strategy you can start tomorrow. We want to avoid oxidizing the cholesterol. When you fry an egg until it is crispy and brown, the high heat can damage the delicate nutrients in the yolk. The absolute best way to eat eggs for bone health is soft-boiled or poached. This keeps the white cooked for protein absorption but leaves the yolk runny or creamy, preserving those heat-sensitive vitamins and healthy fats. Try this for a week. Have 2 soft-boiled eggs for breakfast, but do not eat them alone. Remember how we said bone building needs teamwork? Pair those eggs with some sautéed spinach or a slice of avocado. Why? Because spinach is high in vitamin K1 and calcium, and the fat from the egg yolk will help you absorb the nutrients from the spinach. It is a synergy. The egg makes the vegetable healthier, and the vegetable makes the egg a more complete meal. Or picture this. You make a simple omelette, but instead of cheese, which can be inflammatory for some, try adding mushrooms. Mushrooms are one of the few plant sources of vitamin D. So now you have the vitamin D from the egg yolk and the vitamin D from the mushrooms working together. It is a supercharged meal for your skeleton. I want to address one more thing that I see in the comments all the time. People ask, do I need to buy the expensive organic pasture-raised eggs? I know they cost more, especially on a fixed income. Here is the honest truth. While conventional eggs are still good, pasture-raised eggs come from chickens that have been out in the sun eating bugs and grass. Studies show these eggs can have 3 to 4 times more vitamin D and better omega-3 fatty acids than the eggs from chickens kept inside cages. If your budget allows, think of that extra $1 or $2 not as a grocery expense but as a medical expense. It is a lot cheaper than joint surgery. If you cannot afford them, do not worry. Conventional eggs are still a powerhouse compared to a bowl of sugary cereal. Do the best you can with what you have. It might feel a bit unsettling to learn all this right. To realize that maybe that low-fat diet you followed for 20 years might have contributed to your achy knees. But remember, knowledge is power. It is not about regretting the past, it is about changing the future. Now that you know you can make simple changes, you do not need to overhaul everything overnight. Just start with breakfast. Swap that toast and jam for a couple of eggs. You might start to notice less stiffness in the mornings and more energy on your walks within just a few weeks. Imagine walking up the porch steps easily again without having to haul yourself up by the railing. Imagine having the grip strength to open a jar without asking for help. That is the difference these small nutritional tweaks can make over time. Your body is resilient, it wants to heal, it just needs the right materials. Let's quickly recap so you have a clear plan. First, we learned that eggs provide the high-quality protein, specifically leucine, needed to maintain the muscle that protects your bones. Second, we discovered the yolk is a delivery vehicle for vitamin D and K2, the traffic controllers that ensure calcium goes to your bones and not your arteries. And third, we discussed how choline and egg nutrients fight the inflammation that destroys joints. And remember the golden rule, prepare them gently, like soft boiling, to keep those nutrients alive. I want to leave you with a thought. I know getting older is hard. The aches, the fear of losing mobility. It can be scary and discouraging. Sometimes it feels like your world is shrinking, but you are not alone in this, and it is not too late to turn things around. Growing older might be inevitable, but growing weaker does not have to be. Every small step you take, every better food you choose, every good habit you build is strengthening your legs and your future freedom. One meal, one step at a time, you are taking charge of your health. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these facts about eggs surprised you the most? Did you know about the vitamin K2 connection or the importance of the yolk? Or maybe you have a favorite way to cook eggs that makes you feel great. Share your story or any questions in the comments below. I read every single one and we all learn from each other. Your tip might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And one final request, if this video helped you or opened your eyes even a little, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me personally, but more importantly, it tells the algorithm to show this video to other seniors who need this information. And do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health insights that could improve your life. We have plenty more science-backed tips for thriving in your golden years coming up soon. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, your independence is carried by your legs, so let's keep them strong. Keep taking those small steps for your health. They add up to giant strides in your freedom. I will see you in the next video.